Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sports Insight with your host Alamdar Khan. And as you know, we give you sports information from all across the globe. You guys can surely reach out to us on our social media handle, which is @ Indus News Sports. That works both for Twitter and for Instagram. But anyways, we'll go to the headlines first. And yes, from the world of Olympic basketball, Germany beats Nigeria 99-92, while Team USA wins against Iran 120-66 in Tokyo Olympics 2020. And yes, we still continue talking about the Olympics. We talk about badminton. Yes, badminton player Mahur Shehzad, Olympics. Sorry, दोबारा करता हूँ. And yes, talking about Olympics, badminton player Mahur Shehzad's Olympic journey came up to an end after suffering a defeat against Britain's Christy Gilmore. And yes, from the news of mountaineering, we have Shahroz Kashif, who's become the youngest mountaineer ever to summit K2, the second tallest peak in the world. And yes, we talk about Olympic gymnastics. Yes, Simone Biles actually withdrew from the women's team gymnastic final at the Tokyo Olympics 2020. And yes, those were the headlines, and we're focusing more on Olympics events because that's what's truly happening these days. Yes, our first focus will be basketball. In terms of basketball, Germany managed to beat Nigeria 99-92, while USA managed to win against Iran 120-66. To discuss the in-depth analysis, we have with us Adam all the way from US. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on talking some international basketball, some Olympic basketball.
Awesome. All right, Adam, I'll start off with the first match that I'm going to discuss is going to be Germany beating Nigeria 99-92. And not to forget that, pre-matches that actually took place, USA actually had lost against Nigeria as well. So I think they're a pretty solid team, but they managed to lose against Germany. So that would be the game one that I would want to discuss with you. So what's your take on this game to begin with?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting matchup. Nigeria is one of the best teams in the tournament, and they got a lot of NBA talent there. Akpala, obviously a key contributor from the Miami Heat. And when you have these guys who have experience playing against the NBA's best on a nightly basis, they're going to come in with some confidence. And I think that they, snuck up on Team USA when they played their exhibition match, because maybe they were a bit of a dark horse, but Mike Brown has a lot of experience with these NBA players and game planning against these NBA players, but just not enough against Germany, who played a very well-balanced game. And even if they don't have as much NBA star power, you can see how effective the 3-and-D can be for the German team. And, they got it done with good team basketball. So it'll be interesting, but I don't think Nigeria is done. They'll be back.
Right, and definitely they'll be back, because if we look into the scoring line, to be precise, the scoring line was surely at Nigeria's side till the third quarter. How things changed was the fourth quarter, in which I think Nigeria probably could have added more value to the entire game, because the entire game was pretty much nick to nick. It was absolutely spot on for both the teams. But in the last quarter, Germany managed to score 25 points, whereas Nigeria scored only 18 points.
They say defense wins championships, and it's no different in the international level. So you've got to give them credit. And I would have thought that Nigeria would have been able to win that game.
I would have personally definitely vouched for Nigeria myself, because I think they are a pretty solid team. But obviously, it's not the end as yet. I think there is more magical power from the Nigeria team in further matches to come.
Absolutely.
Right. And I want to also talk about the second match that I was about to discuss. This is obviously Team USA winning against Iran 120-66. However, this is a major comeback from the US team because the first game that they played, they actually lost against France. So how do you see now the development of Team USA?
Well, the interesting thing about this Team USA is that you have so many guys who are used to being the best player on their team, used to being the number one scoring option, and so it's going to take a little bit of time because they all have to learn how to play in a different role. And it's not just an all-star game. This is a competition. The all-star game, you play with a bunch of guys, but no one's really playing defense.
Right.
This is really stiff competition. The international game's come such a long way, and these guys are playing for their country. Well, the Team USA basketball team has developed a very lazy tendency to look past their opponents, and you see what happened against a team like France or a team like Nigeria, where on paper, Team USA is much better, but they aren't used to, having to share the basketball, and they aren't playing the level of defense that it's going to take for them to win a gold medal. And so there's going to be a bit of a time to feel out the team. Another key factor is some of these guys are fresh back from the NBA Finals and fairly practiced with the team. When you think about Drew Holiday or Devin Booker, who's a starter on Team USA.
Right.
And so it's going to take some time for the team to gel and the unit to become cohesive. But Team USA is still my favorite to win it all. But I think this is going to be the hardest road to the goal that they've ever faced.
Right.
And I would be surprised if they don't finish the job. Now, that was a good statement win over Iran because that is the level of basketball that they should be playing to. They should be winning by about 50 points against most opponents. There's a reason that the United States has a reputation as the best basketball country in the world.
Right.
But if you don't play team basketball, then all that is reputation. You got to live up to it.
Well, I think in terms of the first game that obviously was against France, it was a different journey for them because they didn't really have that time to gel in because, like you said, this time you're playing for the country. But my quick question, which always, there's this one question that always hovers onto my head, and Adam, I think you would probably give a better advice on it. So, Adam, what if Milwaukee Bucks team actually were representing the Team USA in the Olympics? How would things be then?
The Milwaukee Bucks would be better than Team USA.
Right.
I know that sounds crazy. Team USA obviously has more star power,
Right.
but the Milwaukee Bucks know how to play together. And
Right.
the Milwaukee Bucks have the best player in the world. He's an American. The best player in the world is a Greek right now. And so, if you put Giannis out there, he's the most versatile defender in the world, and then you give him Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday,
Right.
you can only have 5 guys on the floor at once. This is a team with an identity, and I think it's a common misconception to assume that they put an all-star team together and it's going to be effective. Really, the name of the game is just putting the ball in the hoop, and they have 5 guys who can do that as a unit and play some of the best defense in the world. And right now, Team USA is playing a lot of hero ball. They're my turn, your turn, and that's not winning basketball. And they don't have the discipline on the defensive end. When you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, those are their calling cards. Giannis, of course, takes his turn and is going to go get his points, his 6 points in Game 6 to win the championship.
Right.
But when you talk about a team, the essence of a team is the ability to work together, and that's what the Bucks have that Team USA doesn't.
Right. And to be very honest, as you mentioned, it's always about the teamwork. It's about the gelling in. And I think right now, as the NBA champions, obviously Milwaukee Bucks are spot on. And yes, sometimes a lot of superstars in one team can create a havoc. If you look back into how Brooklyn Nets could not come up to where they were supposed to because they wanted to opt for a trio. And obviously the trio didn't really come out big, but ultimately we see how things went. And in terms of Bucks, they only focused on one thing. They were focusing on a team that can be gelled in. So right now, Team USA is focusing more on gelling themselves in terms of this basketball tournament in the Olympics.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Team USA is going to be just fine, but what they're going to need is someone to come in and play a little bit more of a selfless facilitator role. Someone just has to come in there and be the best passer of Team USA. Team USA is a team of scorers. They need a passer to truly unlock their potential. And once they get that ball movement, they're not going to lose. They're the best team in the world, but that's on paper. In order for them to turn the corner, they're going to have to get a little bit better at just sharing the ball and playing as a unit. But they can get there, and they're going to get better and better with every game they play together, and they're going to get more and more comfortable with each other. So I'm not too worried about them, but yes, it just comes down to good teamwork.
Right. And talking about more of the teams out there, I think if we talk about Spain, they also managed to win against Japan, and obviously Germany winning against Nigeria, we've discussed. We also talk about Australia versus Italy. I think Australia has a pretty solid team in terms of basketball, because up till now, from how things are flowing, they have also won against Nigeria and they've also won against Italy. So it surely is going to be super interesting on where we see Team USA further. But how do you see Team Australia if you look at the overall Olympic status for basketball?
I mean, Australia's been an up-and-comer for a few years now. They really play great defense throughout. If you see an influx of NBA talent from Australia, whether that be Joe Ingles or Patty Mills, and so it's one of those countries that really has to be on Team USA's radar, because it's not how it used to be, where Team USA can kind of walk all over their opponents. And so I do think that they are a real threat. I do think that Team USA, though, should be able to weather that storm just because they have so much more star power. But when I look at the short list of the teams with the best chance of upsetting Team USA, I think about Spain, I think about Australia.
Right.
And, Luka Doncic is good enough to knock anybody off with one great game. So I have to think about Slovenia as well.
Right. And yes, talking about Slovenia, obviously, when they had their game, they won against Argentina 118 to 100. So I think all the teams are pretty much in form. I think the highest score so far is obviously from the US against Iran. So let's see where this progress is. Adam, thank you so very much for being a part of the show and discussing the world of Olympic basketball with us.
Thank you. I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. So yes, that was Adam, and obviously he gave us an in-depth analysis with how things are. And talking about obviously Germany, who actually managed to beat Nigeria, as discussed earlier, 99 to 92, and obviously Team USA finally making a comeback. Because if you look back into how they came, they lost against France on the 25th of July, which was 83 to 76. But now they have actually managed to win against Iran. Obviously, it's going to be tricky where the Olympic scheduling goes in terms of the quarterfinals, because the quarterfinals will be announced by the 3rd of August, and that's exactly the day when the first quarterfinal will begin. But anyways, guys, we'll take a quick break. Once we get back from the break, we'll discuss more from the world of sports. See you guys after the break. And welcome back from the break. And yes, before the break, we were discussing Olympics, but we were focused more on the basketball side. But not to forget that there are so many other events that are truly happening in the world of Olympics. Not to forget, we're going to talk about badminton. Yes, talking about badminton, when we talk about Mahur Shehzad, who's actually one of the representatives of the country representing Pakistan, her journey actually came up to an end when she lost against Britain's Christy Gilmore. But to discuss the in-depth analysis, we have with us another young champion from our own country. Yes, we have with us Shujat Ali Khan, and not to forget, he was the youngest 14-year-old to represent Pakistan in Asian Youth Championship when he was 14 years old, and this was back in Japan. Shujat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm so grateful for you having someone like you at the show and discussing the world of badminton. So we'll start off with the journey of Mahur Shehzad to begin with. What's your take? How do you see her representing the country It's a very tough decision in terms of individuals to go work on their, work on their game,
Exactly.
be professional.
Yeah.
You've been through the journey. So how do you see Mahur Shahzad's overall performance, how it all began and where she is right now?
Well, I would say she is the best in Pakistan, to be honest. She got no competition like for 5 years.
Right.
Like, she's been winning her singles event for
Right.
5 years consecutively.
Right.
So definitely, she is the best in Pakistan.
Right.
And I would say the match with Akane Yamaguchi,
Yeah.
that was the first thing, and you can't expect like anything from the world number 4 and world number 100
Right.
something.
Right. So it was basically Yamaguchi who actually started off bringing her down in terms of the games, because I just look at the scoring as well. That was the first match that actually
Yeah.
she had, and I think
Yeah.
facing someone with her capabilities would have been a lot of pressure on her.
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure on Mahu, to be honest. Like, it must be really hard for her to compete at this level.
Right.
And making points, and that would be really difficult for her to actually beat her or something. But I guess she performed really great.
Right.
And
just going back into how all these athletes, when we talk about Mahur, obviously everybody's proud of the fact that she's
Yeah.
there. But one question that I would also want to raise, that she's been representing Pakistan, and I'm sure you've represented Pakistan.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone who wants to learn sport,
Yeah.
like you did or Mahur did,
Yeah.
how much time did it take for you, or even someone like Mahur, or all those athletes out there, in terms of those who want to learn and do badminton? Because we need backing support. We
Yeah.
need support
Yeah, totally.
system from the country, from the governing bodies. So how do you see that? Did anyone help you, or maybe helped her?
well, of course, I had a great support from everybody, my family, my coaches, everybody.
Right.
Even from the federation, they used to held camps. There were so many camps all over the year.
Right.
And it's a great opportunity for new youngsters to come up, and everyone has to start with somewhere on their own.
Absolutely,
Okay?
absolutely.
Well, when if they get into the eyes of federation and the people and the players and the coaches, then there is a great opportunity for them to come and learn the actual
Game.
sports. Yeah.
But learning into, so what exactly are the governing bodies in our country to begin with? Because as you mentioned, there are associations, your parents supported you, your family supported you.
Yeah.
But to get there, I'm sure there would be some governing bodies, like some association. Do we have any
Yeah.
specific association?
Well, you can see yourself, we are representing Pakistan for the first time in Olympics, so of course they are working really good.
Right, right. And you think this is just the beginning, or do you
Well,
see
yeah.
more? Do you see more athletes, more
Yeah.
individuals coming up
It's
there?
gonna be a great journey for I guess for Pakistan it's gonna be a great journey from now on, because we have just opened the door now.
Right.
So now there will be a lot of things happening, and there are a lot of people, I hope so, gonna represent Pakistan in
In
next
the future.
Olympics.
Awesome. But I would also want to ask you in terms of your history. You were 14 years old
Yeah.
when you represented Pakistan. You were the youngest player of the country.
Yeah.
When you got yourself into badminton,
Yeah.
how did it start? Did you think that you had a skill, or was it previously were you playing? Did you see your family playing? That's how it works.
Yeah. Actually, my family used to play badminton. All my mamus and chachus and my
Right.
father,
Right.
brother, they all used to play badminton. So I used to go with them a lot.
Right.
So that's how I just started playing badminton. Started with the junior championship in 2007.
Right.
So from then, I started joining camps, because I was in Islamabad, and most of the camps used to held in Islamabad. So I was part of the camps. Most of the camps I was
Right.
in them. So yeah, it was a great journey for me.
I'm sure it would have definitely given you all the courage.
Yeah.
And talking about, obviously, when you talk about 2007, and now I think there are more happenings, more governing bodies, more associations that are out there. So in terms of, currently, are you still pursuing your passion?
I'm still playing, and I'm still struggling every day, training every day to get there. It's everybody's dream that what Mahur is doing today.
Right.
Well, it is everyone's dream. Every athlete you're gonna ask, what's your dream? He would have say, or she would have say, okay, I wanna be the part of Olympics. I wanna play Olympics.
Absolutely.
So,
Olympic is all about glory.
Yeah.
So in terms of how Mahur got there, for instance, I would like to know a bit more, and I'm sure the viewers would want to know. Were there any trials? Were there any associations that backed not only Mahur, but maybe there could have been some, for instance, if you wanted to be a part of the Olympics,
Yeah.
What is the stepwise procedure for individuals to go and
It totally works on your international ranking, you can say.
Right.
So there is an Olympic year just before the Olympic.
Right.
A whole year back, there is an Olympic year starts.
Right.
So all the tournaments you play in that Olympic year, the counting of your points, your matches internationally, they all counted.
Right.
So yeah.
do you do those international? Do you go to those international matches? Because obviously because of the COVID-19 situation.
Oh yeah, that was really bad.
You know, things were so. I'm still surprised to even see Mahur manage to get there, because she would have had to go somewhere to play games. So that is my question, that how did, maybe in the future, I think now I finally get a hold of a bit of information that it means that if you want to apply, you will maybe in the next Olympics, if you want to apply, you would want to at least have a tour for 1 year, so that you can make your ranking. If
that's actually right.
So do you intend to pursue that in the future?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. Like from now on, like it was the dream as well before, but yeah, now on it's you can see a way now.
Right.
See, so like now we can think of it. Like I can think of it. Okay, I can do this thing. It's a doable thing.
Right. To be honest, dreams are. That's what's supposed to be. Dreams are, but you got to make dreams come true.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would also want to talk about one more match. Obviously, as we're discussing Olympics, well, I would want to talk about Turkey's Nilshan Yigit, who actually managed to beat Doha Hani. And Doha Hani, it's 21-5, 21-5.
Yeah.
So I'm just talking about how, even if you look back into Mahur's loss, it was 21-14, 21-14, which means that she struggled, inside out. But the point is, if we look at this situation, or we talk about Yigit and Doha Hani, it's actually 21-5, which is obviously not a substantially solid score, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So how does it work for you? I mean, do you perform any other sports besides badminton, or do you have any specific set of exercises, or maybe any other sport that you do besides badminton?
Well, I play occasionally snooker sometimes.
Right.
Like that's what I do.
But but obviously snooker is more of a different. It's an indoor game.
It's totally
But you are a badminton guy, so that's that was
totally.
But anyways, besides any outdoor sport, do you prefer any outdoor sports? Because I'm sure if you're practicing your skill set as as someone who plays badminton, needs to practice even more, furthermore.
Yeah, we do. My father was a hockey player. He was a national hockey player. So I played hockey for fitness. I played football for fitness.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I do for fitness. I also go for hiking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shujat, thank you so very much for being a part of the show and discussing your wisdom.
Thank you so much for
and we're looking forward for more news from you, hopefully ahead. I'll just complete the show right now with a few more things. But anyways, that was Shujat. Anyways, so besides that, I want to talk about mountaineering. Yes, another update with regards to mountaineering. Shahroz Kashif has become the youngest mountaineer ever to summit K2. Yes, and looking back into, not to forget, it's one of the most difficult mountains to scale. But not to forget, he also has actually, he's basically the youngest person who actually was in the same situation. If you remember, you must have remembered Satpara. He went basically up there. He got lost. His body was recently discovered. Everybody was very, very upset on that. But anyways, about Shahroz Kashif right now, he has also, not only K2, he's also scaled Mount Everest. So I think this is definitely one of the major achievements for him. And when we talk about these K2 summit, and when we talk about Mount Everest, I think all the tourists out there, all the mountaineers from all across the globe come here, because it's like Nepal, China, Pakistan, we're all associated and blended with this gift from the divine. But anyways, I'll quickly have a word with regards to Olympics gymnastics. Yes, another inside scoop. It's very sad to hear that mental health has been creating a lot of problem. I'm talking about Simone Biles, who actually withdrew from the event because she was this close to getting the gold. But why did she step out is a serious question. I have to focus on my mental health. That is what she said, and I quote. The point is, there have been so many things, and I've been trying to raise so much of awareness with regards to how mental health is creating a lot of issues. Previously, we have seen Naomi Osaka even getting out of this tournament because of the fact, even in the first round, which was not expected of her. But remember, she was also going through her mental health issues. And not only that, social media has changed the entire perspective of social media, of the mental health awareness. So I think we need to raise a lot of bars and allow people to understand the mental health awareness. And if we talk about Simone Biles, I'll tell you guys very interestingly that she was this close to win the gold. But I think in terms of her mental capacity to understand the whole situation, she just couldn't carry on with it. So I think we need to be more respectful to all the athletes, and not only the athletes, everybody else out there on the social media. That is one of the biggest messages that I've been trying to portray to the world out there. But anyways, guys, this was pretty much it from the world of sports. If you want to reach out to us, you can on our social media handle, which is @Indus News Sports. Till then, take good care of yourselves, and bye-bye.